All right, let's be honest for a second. Have you ever been trapped listening to a playlist of children's songs and thought to yourself, this is just a chaotic medley of bright colors and repetitive noises designed literally just to distract my kid? Well, today we're completely flipping that perspective. In this explainer, we're going to transform what seems like totally random toddler entertainment into a highly structured, surprisingly sophisticated syllabus for human development. Yep, you heard me right. We are deconstructing the hidden curriculum of Bebefin. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. Don't worry, we've organized this seemingly random content into 5 completely logical pillars. We'll start with the early learning curriculum, then move on to building core academic skills, practical safety and rules, navigating complex big feelings, and we'll wrap it all up with family play and connection. Let's get right to it. Section 1, the early learning curriculum. Finding order in the chaos. Because we really have to reframe this material not as a playlist, but as a comprehensive educational framework. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 2, building core academic skills. The foundations of logic and cognition. Because before a child can analyze the world, they have to be able to quantify and label it, right? And honestly, the way this material tackles foundational academics is surprisingly intense. Just look at this quote derived straight from the source. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, you know this isn't just sung once. No way. It is looped, it's repeated, and it is hammered home relentlessly. The source material deliberately uses these intense auditory loops to physically drill numeric sequences into the developing brain. So what we're actually witnessing here is a calculated deployment of rote memorization. This isn't just a catchy song stuck in your head, it is a highly calibrated educational tool. By using rote memorization, early learners get to foundationalize these sequences, like counting to 10 or identifying primary colors, long before they actually comprehend the abstract mathematical meaning behind the number 10. Basically, they're laying down the neural pathways first. It's like building the highway before you actually put cars on it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the curriculum systematically breaks down a child's entire sensory world into these super digestible, categorized inputs. Think about it. Auditory skills are taught by matching sounds to objects. The boom-boom of a drum, the tick-tock of a clock, the pop-pop of bubbles. And visually, they aren't just memorizing abstract shapes on a blank screen, they're mapping them directly to their own environment. A circle isn't just a circle, it's a trampoline. A triangle is a sandwich. A rectangle is a pizza box. And environmentally, the curriculum categorizes the whole physical world around them into sunny, rainy, windy, and snowy days. It is a total, ground-up, sensory breakdown. And this brilliantly illustrates how the program teaches spatial awareness and relativity. Just look at the contrast in these lyrics. On one hand, you have "Mom's legs are long," compared to "My legs are short," or "Elephant is big," compared to "Bunny is small." The curriculum takes incredibly abstract concepts, like size and distance, which are super hard for a toddler to grasp, and grounds them by anchoring them to relatable physical bodies. I mean, a toddler doesn't know what the word long means in a vacuum for sure, but they absolutely know what their legs look like compared to their mom's legs. But let's be real, spatial awareness and shape recognition will only get you so far in life. Which naturally leads us to ask, how does this program transition from these abstract cognitive concepts to actual real-world survival skills? Which brings us to Section 3, Practical Safety and Rules, the Pragmatic Toddler Manual. This is where things get serious. Because this is exactly where those lighthearted, fun songs suddenly pivot into hard and fast rules for navigating the dangers of the outside world. Take the bus safety song, for example. It is not just a cute song about a yellow bus. It's a literal step-by-step standard operating procedure. Step 1, stay back in a safe place. 2, fasten your seatbelt. 3, don't move until the bus stops. 4, keep your hands inside. 5, look right, then look left. These are highly pragmatic, life-saving lessons deliberately hidden inside an upbeat, bouncing melody. The child is essentially agreeing to a social contract, literally singing, "Let's promise you won't forget them," and even making a pinky promise to abide by these safety protocols. And right after that, we see the establishment of absolute boundaries. The source material repeatedly hammers home this exact phrase. Great job. Never open the door for strangers. In this specific sequence, there's a knock on the door. If it's mom, sister, or brother, boom, the door is opened. But if the voice is unknown, the door stays shut. No exceptions. By constantly repeating this rule and actively contrasting safe, known family members with the great unknown, the syllabus instills a deep, unshakable boundary regarding personal safety.
So, okay, we've covered the cognitive pathways and we've covered physical safety, but human development isn't just about avoiding moving buses and memorizing that a pizza box is a rectangle, right? So, how does this curriculum handle the complex and, let's face it, often incredibly messy inner world of a child?
Let's move to Section 4, Navigating Complex Big Feelings, Building Emotional Intelligence. I gotta say, this is arguably the most sophisticated section of the entire source material. It goes way beyond the physical world and systematically tackles emotional regulation. So the crucial point is how it actively prescribes totally different healthy coping mechanisms for distinct emotions. Check this out. When the child is identified as feeling sad, the prescribed mechanism is to cry, hug a doll, and just let it out. But when the child is identified as feeling mad, the mechanism shifts entirely. Breathe in deep, count to 3, and let it out. But please notice that core validation column on the right side there. For both of these emotions, the lyrics explicitly state, you might feel many feelings, they are all okay. That is huge. It is actively teaching emotional intelligence by validating the child's internal state while simultaneously giving them the physical tools they need to regulate it.
And look at how it handles interpersonal conflict. In a sequence specifically about a sibling fight, we find this quote, "As time goes by, my anger slowly melts away. The magic word for you and me, sorry." Think about how incredibly profound that is for a toddler syllabus. It's actually modeling the passage of time as a natural emotional regulator. It teaches the child that anger isn't a permanent state. It naturally melts away over time. And then it follows up by teaching the specific mechanics of apologizing, making up, and giving hugs to repair that fractured social bond.
But here's the thing. All of this, the numbers, the safety rules, the emotional regulation, none of it works in isolation. So what is the underlying framework that actually holds all these academic, safety, and emotional lessons together? That brings us to our final pillar, Section 5, Family Play and Connection, the ultimate anchor for learning. Because everything we've discussed today is ultimately anchored in familial bonds. That's what creates the safe environment where all this rapid development can actually take place. And this brilliantly illustrates how the show builds this through classic games. These aren't just time wasters to keep a kid quiet. Hide and seek, that teaches object permanence, utilizing mom and dad to prove that even when you can't see someone, they still exist, and most importantly, they will return. Peekaboo provides the constant reassurance of a parent's presence. The Finger Family song literally maps familial roles, daddy, mommy, brother, sister, baby, directly onto the child's own physical body parts. It physically ties their very identity to their family unit. And 10 in a Bed uses playful sibling dynamics to establish comfortable, predictable sleep routines. Every single one of these games is utilized as a vital tool for connection and trust building within the family unit. All of which leaves us with this final thought. When you step back and look at the deliberate repetition, the complete sensory categorization, the highly pragmatic safety rules, and the surprisingly nuanced emotional intelligence being taught, you really have to ask yourself, is this just a playlist to distract a toddler while you try to make dinner? Or is it actually a masterful blueprint for building a well-rounded human being from scratch? The next time you hear those catchy tunes playing in the background, you just might find yourself listening a little more closely to the hidden syllabus. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.